U.S. and Philippine officials highlighted priorities and goals for APEC 2015 at the Ronald Reagan Building and International Trade Center in Washington, D.C. on October 30th, 2015. Panelists discussed business growth and core challenges facing the Asia-Pacific region in an increasingly dynamic global economy. Keynote speakers were senior officials for APEC, Matthew Matthews, Deputy Assistant Secretary and Senior Official for APEC, U.S. Department of State, and Ambassador Laura Del Rosario, Undersecretary for International Economic Relations and Senior APEC Official, Department of Foreign Affairs, Republic of the Philippines.
The Philippines this year has defined inclusive growth as the key theme, overall theme, and that theme resonates throughout the whole program. It's one that the United States fully supports. Our goal is to nurture a highly competitive, vibrant, open, and transparent Asia-Pacific region where all citizens have a fair shot because everyone is playing by the same set of rules. The United States remains committed to ensuring that with economic prosperity also comes sustainable economic growth so that future generations have the opportunity to prosper.
First of all, of course, when we started to talk about APEC and we talk about the Bogor goals, we were really thinking in terms of regional economic integration. For us, that's the thing that we're working for. And 2010 was the deadline for the developed economies to really achieve a fully liberalized environment for trade and investment. And 2020 is the goal, or rather the year when we should, those of us in the developing economies should really accomplish ours. But somewhere along the way, maybe it's because people saw that the growth wasn't really becoming inclusive, or it's that it was really dividing the economies as well. So during the Japanese year, they came out with the Yokohama Vision, which defined what growth should mean. We are now building institutions through that quality growth strategy. That quality growth strategy cannot work unless there's governance, unless there's institution building. So I think that should make a lot of developed economies happy that those other members of APEC will be able to come up with better institutions. And then, of course, part of this is knowing that we cannot achieve regional economic integration, which is actually our main goal in APEC, unless we have structural reform. We are really doing our best to make sure that APEC really lives up to its promise, that it is an incubator of ideas, that it's an incubator of policies, and that it is really a leader in the Asia-Pacific region. APEC continues to be a very attractive forum for everybody. They think that being in APEC is really very significant. And I know that if an economy doesn't attend it, it's almost like not attending the wedding of the year, sort of, right? So that's how we see it. And I think our agenda this year is also resonating, or has resonated in all the members of APEC, because it's about inclusive growth, and we're not talking about it in terms of abstract ideas. We're really looking at all the elements in terms of policies and programs and initiatives and action agenda that will really push inclusive growth in all the APEC economies.
Is there something specific that you would like to see come out of, that you would, some outcome specifically that you would like to see come out of the APEC?
I would like the leaders really to support the new agenda on services, because we've been always talking about goods, trade in goods. So if we're talking about trade in services now, and the quality growth agenda, as I said, we should focus really on governance and transparency, building institutions, also being concerned about the environmental impact of economic activities, as well as equitable growth. So that's the only way really that we can really make sure that our growth is sustainable.
The program was really quite good. I learned a lot. I think we had very good presentations, both from government officials as well as from representatives of the private sector, and I'm very pleased with the way it went.
It was a fabulous opportunity to remind Washington that APEC is coming. The President of the United States is going to go along with leaders of all the APEC nations, waiting for word from China, to be sure. But this is an opportunity to advance U.S. interests in the Asia-Pacific area in a cooperative venture, because that area, the Asia-Pacific, is on its way to becoming the largest economic and commercial area in the history of the world. It's the western part of our western hemisphere, and all of the eastern fringe and going down to Australia and New Zealand. It is a unique opportunity, and APEC has been doing it right for the last 20 years.
Current members of APEC include Australia, Brunei, Canada, Chile, Hong Kong, China, Indonesia, Japan, Korea, Malaysia, Mexico, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Peru, Philippines, Russia, Singapore, Chinese Taipei, Thailand, USA, and Vietnam.